Hello and welcome back to the Finding Your Feet podcast, a podcast show dedicated to helping you get closer to your true authentic self by helping you find your feet in life. Welcome back to episode 87.
Welcome back to the show, guys. Hope you're all doing well. It's just me and Abby today, no guest. I have a nice little chat. We're going to make an episode like this is going to bring you lots of comfort when you're in need, you know, because you can get so much from a podcast episode, but I feel like a lot of the time they're always like firing information off at you, but also you can get a lot of like emotional support from a podcast. And I just feel like we just have a little itch to make an episode and you could come back and re-listen to it, and it was going to like remind you of your strength when you're going through like a tough time or whatever, or something's not going right. It's going to help you flip your mindset to look at it in more of like a not in like that people call it toxic positivity, spiritual bypassing, not like, oh, it's all going to be fine, don't you worry, but as in like looking at it in a different, deeper way, and just recognizing your own strength more, sharing like the mindset we have when it comes to dealing with hard times, when you're in pain, emotional and physical, and there's nothing you can do but literally ride it out and sit with it. And in that, you just want it to be done quick, but you can't speed it up. It just is what it is. And bringing ease to that moment is possible through how you think about it. And we're going to talk about that. So this episode is just going to be like the hug you need.
Yeah.
Because what as well makes me sad, and that's why I want to do this episode, is that there's some people out there that haven't got like solid friends that they can turn to. I'm lucky, you're lucky. We've got like proper tight circle around us, like really tight, that even when you're in the pits, like they lift you up.
Yeah.
They like hold you.
Yeah, they help you like ride the wave when you can't.
Yeah, and that's really, really powerful and like essential for humans to have that. Like when you don't have that, it's just so hard. So though I know that there'll be people out there that don't have those solid friends, or even like family, and just don't feel like they can turn to anyone. And this episode is going to be like that comfort blanket that you need in that moment. We're going to be your solid mates.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's going to be like a reminder to also just be patient, because like you said, like you've got to ride it out.
Yeah.
And yeah, the amount of times that I have been like within that pain and I thought, I want to listen to something, like you want something to like put you at ease, but nothing that's going to like almost stimulate you and get you thinking of other things. You just want something to help you persevere and be patient and sit with the pain.
Yeah.
So I'm actually really excited to do this episode, because if we can provide that for someone, that comforting feeling,
it's really beautiful. Amazing. Yeah. And I think it's very easy if you've got a podcast to like be that, to put an episode out that lives there forever, that someone can always come back to and find comfort in. It's so easy to create that. So why would you not? And there isn't really any out there that actually really do that.
Yeah. We're all in this together, guys. We've literally got you.
Yeah, we got you, and you got us.
Exactly. But before we do get into the episode, we just have our Apple Podcast review of the week. And this review is from D.A. Thornton 96. She says, Thank you for doing such amazing work on your podcast. It has helped me so much with my journey on self-discovery and self-love. You girls are going to help so many people, sending all the love and happiness. That is beautiful. Thank you so, so much.
Thank you for such lovely, kind words. Thank you for listening to our show, and I'm glad that we've been helping you on your journey of self-discovery and self-love. That's what it's all about, guys. What it's all about. Well, if you want to be featured in Review of the Week next week, all you need to do is leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, and we will read out at the beginning of the show. Really helps our podcast grow, getting some nice reviews on there, getting the message out there, helping more people, getting the Find Your Feet message spreading to wider earthlings. So yeah, if you want to be lovely, if you want to leave us a review, you know where to go, and we'll read it out.
Yeah, they literally make our day. They make us so happy. So yeah, go leave a review.
I think the first most important thing to always remind yourself of when you're in what feels like a shitstorm is that you only get tested if you're capable of passing the test. And sometimes, like, I don't mean like you get like everything in life is a test, you pass or fail or whatever, but I mean you only get put through something if you are strong enough to like weather the storm. Otherwise it wouldn't come into your life. And that's hard to like think about when something really bad's happened and you feel like why is this happening to me. But I always try and think, always have the mindset that life is always happening for me, not to me. So when I'm in a difficult situation, like, you can look and take the responsibility for what you did that got yourself in that, because you were part to play for being in it in the first place, if you know what I mean. Like, it depends on the circumstances, but always just when you're in the shitstorm and you literally feel like I've got like this is so hard, how am I going to get through this? I always remind myself, like, you are strong enough to get through it, because otherwise you wouldn't have been put through it. And that, you can think that regardless of whether you have a belief in a higher power or not.
Yeah.
But for me personally, like, and loads of you guys already know, like, listen to our pod, we're like well spiritual and like believe in the universe and everything. And I actually resonate with the word God, so I'll probably use the word God quite a lot in this episode, but that's just the word that connects to me. But I'm not part of like a religion or anything. I like what Mo said, fruit salad, spirituality.
Fruit salad. I love
So
that.
you pick and choose what you want to have in your fruit salad. What parts of spiritualness do you want, and you make it your own. And that's what I do. And so when I say God, like, that's just the word that resonates with me the most, and more than like the universe or source. But when I'm saying God, that's what I mean. Like, I'm not part of like a religion or anything, but I believe in a higher power. Like, I just, like, you look outside and this world is like huge, this huge planet. Like, you put on your Instagram story the other day something really cute. I was like, so like, sweet.
How we're like on a
how can you not believe in magic when we're literally on a giant rock floating around a universe that we don't know what the end of the universe is. Like, we have no idea how big it truly is. Like, how can you not believe in magic? And it's like, yeah, how can you think that we're just here? Like, how can you think that this is all just random? Like, so not, like, it's all constructed. And but so when it comes to like difficult times, like, I really, that belief that I have in God, in a higher power, in that things are happening for me, not to me, in that knowing that God wouldn't put me through a difficult time if I couldn't handle it, and if it wasn't for a good reason. Like, everything's for a good reason. Even in your difficult moments, if you take the introspection with it, look at, like, what part did you play in this, or whatever, or what are the lessons that you need to learn? Because a lot of the time, like, we need to learn things the hard way sometimes, because we don't like, you just have to, just the way it is. Yeah, it is part of being a curious human, is that sometimes you do just end up having to learn things the hard way. And when you like are in that difficult time, like, not running away from your pain and looking for the lessons in it, I think moves you through it quicker. Not that you want to like rush through it, because what you resist persists, and pain that doesn't get transformed gets transmuted. Like, hurt people. Like, you've got to feel through your pain, or you'll transmute it onto something else. Like, it's just going to get stuck in you. So you can't like rush through it. But I actually think you get through it quicker if you actively look for the lessons in it, and you rise stronger out of it. Like, you have a better mindset on it. But I also think that part of the purpose of why you're going through something hard is for you to learn those lessons. So the quicker that you can tune in your mind of not thinking, why is this happening? To, okay, what is this trying to teach me? I think you actually move out of it quicker.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's like in that moment where you decide, like, do you want to go into victimhood, or do you want to learn the lessons? Because it is so easy. Like, obviously, depending on what happens to you, like, it's so easy to act like a victim. But I'm like that. I truly, truly, truly believe everything we're sent is to make us into the person we're supposed to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's why we all deal with different things. And I really think as well that like where you find the most pain or something you really, really struggle with, that is your power. Like that is your power. Like that's what you were sent to make you into the person you're supposed to be. And I think as well when you are kind of like doing the work that we are, doing the podcast, being a light worker, everything kind of feels more intensified.
Yeah.
Like you're literally, I truly believe that like God or the universe is sending you things to like create situations so you learn the lessons.
Yeah.
And I think when you think that as well, that does just take off so much ease. Because even though it can be painful, some situations, and you sit in the pain, but you just think, at the other side of this is going to be so much more beauty because I'm actually going to learn a lesson. Like I'm going to become a better person.
Yeah.
And that is just the greatest gift in the world.
Yeah, you're always just trying to be better. You're always just trying to be the best version of you, keep growing. That's what life's about. You never stop growing. But and the law of polarity, like good can't exist without bad. Dark can't exist without light. You can't know what happiness is without feeling sadness. You can't, like, all these things where the law of polarity comes into it, where it's like if you are in a real shit situation right now and you are really struggling and suffering and you feel like there's no way, like you're struggling to see the way back out, like it's the universal law. That pain that you're in cannot exist without also pleasure being in the situation, as in being in the mix. And yeah, you can't feel the pleasure now, but that's what you'll feel later. It's like the darkness you feel now is going to transform into light, but you won't feel it until later, but it's present part of this situation, because that's the law of polarity. Two opposites have to exist at the same time in the same place. So the darkness you feel now, you can't see the light yet, but it is here because it's part of that situation, and it will come later, like through because you rise up out of pain stronger, better, more focused. You are, hard times make you a more refined version of yourself, if you choose for that to be. It's all in your hands, really. Like but that's what I always think is the biggest sort of purpose of difficult times.
Yeah, for sure. And I think when you are on the path of like trying to discover yourself more, doing the self-development, that's when I think things get stirred as well, like further. And that's when more things come up. And also things that may not have used to bother you, that you wouldn't have found pain in, you now find pain in. And I think that's all part of discovering like your true essence and actually getting back to like your inner child, especially your inner child. Like all part of that journey is about feeling things you never used to feel, even if that's in like teenage years. Like there's been so many things that I've done in teenage years that I just brushed off and I didn't feel. And like that's what creates like these energy blocks that we're always talking about in your body and stuff, and like holding memories. So I think when you get to that deeper level of understanding of yourself and your body and the stuff you're holding on to, it will feel like a lot. Like it feels like there's more to work through, there's more coming up, there's more lessons.
Yeah.
But it's like because you've asked for it, like you've asked for the development, you've asked to like flourish into this new person. So you've got to remember that even if, like, I think sometimes maybe some people think, well, this didn't used to bother me, and get frustrated, why does it bother me now? But I think you just got to remember that now you're not numbing yourself. Now you're actually asking to flourish into a new person. So like you've got to ride with it.
Yeah, so that means being triggered, being wounded by something, because it's gonna push you onto a healing journey, onto a journey of where you actually look at something that's maybe deep down in your subconscious, a deep down energy block in your body, that then this situation is basically highlighting that repressed pain. And so you're thinking, well, why is this current situation literally throwing me off so much? Why am I losing my head so much over this? Why does this feel so hard? Why does it feel so painful? You know, because you look at it logically and think it's not that bad or whatever, or you think, oh, the old me wouldn't have been this bothered. Why is this hurting me so much? But it can be because it's linked to all your past things that you haven't healed and you've not looked at, and you didn't honor yourself at the time, and know, like, you know, you can't beat yourself up for that. It just is what it is. So this current opportunity, this current time where you're feeling triggered and in pain, is an opportunity to link back all those other parts where you didn't give yourself the opportunity to feel it, and you're feeling it now, and that's why it feels more intense. But the only way to move through anything is to feel it. You can't jump over it and run off. If you want to, you can go and numb yourself, but it'll come back. The only way to becoming on the journey of becoming who you really want to be and becoming this free person free of all your stuff, so that you don't transmute it onto anyone else, and so that you can really like live the life you want, where you're not being held back by yourself, by any subconscious blocks. You're not blocking yourself energetically with manifesting everything, all these things that you want. We have to go through like that purging, and that's what this kind of can be. And it can feel so like horrible in the moment, but it is all for your like greater good.
It can feel a
Even
lot.
It feels like it's not.
It feels like a lot in the moment. I think when you're in that as well, you have to just literally remind yourself that it's going to end, like you're going to feel better. But as you said, you've got to kind of like sit with the pain and just like let it flow easily, because I feel like that's not what we do. Kind of like when we're growing up, like we always try and like run from it or try and fix it. How often are we actually taught to just genuinely sit with it and like, I don't know, journal, cry, like let it out, like let the emotion come out. If there's emotion coming up in your body over a situation that you think is not that bad, like you said, it's probably because of all the past times that you've acted differently on it. And now it's kind of like,
and now you're like honouring yourself slightly, so it's like, oh, okay, let's get it all out. So it's all starting to come out, because your brain is like really clever, and your mind, everything's so clever, and things that will have like hurt you in the past, things that hurt you now that you think this didn't used to hurt me in the past, potentially didn't hurt you in the past because your mind knew that you weren't strong enough to deal with it at that time. So it like kind of puts it just lets it slide. It doesn't make you go through that pain. So then when you get further down like your self-development journey and stuff, you can start to feel things deeper, because you're meeting yourself on that deeper level, and your mind knows that you can handle to feel through this. Otherwise your brain would shut down and like would basically numb for you, because it's your brain's always trying to protect you at the end of the day. So when you're like there and you're in that like pit, and you're like, what is this? Like, why is this so hard? Like, always just remind yourself like you wouldn't get put through it if you weren't strong enough to handle it, and constantly remind yourself of how strong you are. That's what we want to remind yourself of now, is how strong you are. Like, you're so strong and you're so brave, and you can handle whatever is coming up for you. And that's what message I want to get across in this episode, because when I'm in a bad place, I've got friends that will tell me that. Not everyone's got that. So we want to be that message now for anybody else, because that's what you need to hear in that moment. Because in the moment, you are in so much pain that you can't really remember your own strength, because you're drained, your energy's low, like everything.
That actually just reminded me of something. I can't remember if I was saying it to you about the hope thing. I don't think I was saying it to you. I mean, it kind of like translates to this, and it's like that idea of like carrying your friends and carrying the hope. I heard this thing on a podcast, and I literally just thought it was so beautiful. It was kind of like a therapist guy, but he's been doing it for like 20, 30 years. He's really, really good. And he says he has this thing where if someone's in a bad mental place, he doesn't say to them, have hope that you'll be better. So obviously this can transmute to like, just if you're having like a little dark phase, he doesn't say, have hope that you're going to be better. He says, I have your hope, and I'm going to keep it safe with me now. And whenever you need it, like whenever that is, whether it's like a few days, weeks, whatever, I will give that hope back to you when you're ready. But I'm going to hold it for now, and it's safe, and it's your hope, and I've got it here. But I'm going to give it you, when you're ready. And it literally makes me emotional. I think it's so nice.
That is so
and apparently
lovely.
That like triggers something like psychologically in your mind. And it's like, obviously, because when people are in a bad mental place, or just like going through something like spiritually, like working through something, you don't want to feel pressure to get out of it. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't want the pressure. So to say to someone like, you don't need to have hope, but I've got your hope and it's waiting for you. Like that is exactly what this episode kind of is. If someone's listening now and you feel really bad, it's like, don't force yourself to have hope and feel better. Sit with the pain. Me and Grace have got your hope, and we'll give it to you when you're ready.
Yeah, absolutely. That is so beautiful. I love
it's
that.
Lovely, yeah.
I love that. It's just that knowing of like support from somebody else or whatever makes such a huge difference to people.
Mm.
And it doesn't mean that like you're codependent and lean on people, but it's like when you're down, like let your friends support you, like if you have them, or like that, let them hold your hope and give it back. Let yourself be held by others if you have them. Like it's fine, it's okay. Like so many people don't want to let themselves even be supported because they're like, no, I've got to do this on my own, I've got to be strong, and it's like it's the strength in you opening up to the people, letting them know how you feel. But and letting people support you in ways that maybe you didn't even expect, But one of the other things that I do, and my trust and relationship with God, with source, with the universe, has deepened a lot in the last like 4 or 5 months. Like it's got way more deeper. I trust way more. I believe way more than I used to. Like I just, and it's really, really helped me. And I want to explain this now because it's such a simple thing to embody in yourself, and it can really have such a big effect on you in a very, very positive way. So my like deep trust that like everything is unfolding as it's meant to. My life is unfolding as it's meant to. Even when things are good, even when things are bad, I just have this deep trust that everything's exactly as it's supposed to. Like this idea that everything's perfect. We would say that everything's perfect, and it's not as in like, oh, I feel like shit, but everything's perfect, so I'm going to pretend to be happy. It's not. It's like even when things are going to shit, but my life is perfect. Like this is meant to be happening. There's lessons in this for me. It's going to make me stronger, blah, blah. It's like kind of like a growth mindset as well, rather than a fixed mindset. But my like trust in God has really helped me stop going down like rabbit holes of thought that are going to create loads of stress and anxiety in my body and in my mind, and are going to take so much of my energy from me that I don't need to expend on that. That's not fact. Like even on just like a small level, like when you're like, say you're like stuck in traffic, like, and I think you're going to be late for a meeting or whatever, instead of thinking, oh my God, everyone's going to think I'm stupid because I'm rocking up late and I'm going to get fired, or no, or your mind goes off on all these things. I think this is the way God wants it. I'm meant to be late because it's going to save me maybe from a car accident or something like that. There's always things going on. And I always just think it's meant, like just that deep level of trust. It stopped me so many times going down thought holes. They're just a rabbit hole of pure anxiety. It stops me completely doing that, and it's been like life changing.
Yeah, I agree. It almost stops you in your tracks. It's like when your monkey mind starts to go off, and it's like, oh, this traffic is such a good example, because I think so many people get so frustrated in traffic, and I used to be that person, but yeah, now I'm literally like, everything is perfect, like everything
it's meant to be,
and it releases so much. It releases so much anger, so much frustration. It releases pain. It really does, because you literally believe everything down to a T, like literally everything. Think about one thing you are frustrated on right now. Think about that thing. It is perfect, like it's meant to happen. It doesn't matter how painful it is, like it's meant to happen for you, and it's going to help you transform. And that is life changing. I'm so glad we both have that mindset. Could you imagine if one of us didn't?
I know, because this is the thing, when you're around other people that don't have that mindset, then they're like, what's you're telling me that God's making me late, or whatever, or the universe making me, like, you telling me that the universe is making me feel immense amount of pain right now, like linked to all like childhood unsolved wounds. Are you joking me? Like, if you're around that, it's hard to keep that faith, because you can't, because all of it is not tangible. None of it is. But this universe isn't tangible.
No.
You're actually energy, and I could put my hand through you, like, as in, like, really, we're just vibrating little particles. Like, there's sure some science thing I could do where I can eventually put my hand through you. Like, the world's not tangible. There's so much going on, and so obviously, like, obviously it's harder to think that way when you've got other people around you who don't think like that, but you don't need to go around, saying what you think. You can just think it in your head and it brings yourself peace. Like, the thing, there's always going to be people out there that are going to challenge you and not, but like what Mo Gaudet said, like that episode, Why Happiness is a Choice, you should go and listen to it if you're not listening to it.
I was literally just thinking of that episode.
He taught me so much in that conversation, a lot of like what he said about you're arrogant to think you know everything, like it's arrogant to reject what you don't understand. And it's the same with this thing, like this world as well, like is very, there's a lot more spiritual people I think around now over the last year of what's happened, but the world's very like masculine and physical and logical, and there's a lot of people out there that will like challenge what you think, but it's like what harm does it do to that person for them to believe that everything's happening for them? If it brings them ease to their life, if it makes their life better, what harm does it bring to you having to prove that that's not real, the universe isn't real, God isn't real, all these things? Like, what, you know what I mean? Just people can believe what they believe, but yeah, like it honestly, like even when I'm in like the worst emotional pain or whatever, I always just think I'm co-creating my life all the time. It's me and God. It's me and God.
Yeah.
Like, and He's co-creating your pain as well, because the universe, God, whatever, it knows what you want, and also it wants good things for you. Like, it leads back as well to knowing that we're all here for a reason. We've all got a purpose. Like, I genuinely think every single person on this planet is here for a freaking reason. Like, you're here for a reason, and you've been put here. Your soul's been put here by God, the universe, source, whatever you want to call it, and it wants you to live out that purpose. So you're co-creating your life. Like, you're saying what you want, you're moving towards what you want, but also God and the universe can throw you some things that maybe you didn't think you wanted, or you think you don't want. But do you know what I mean? Like, so it works with pain and it works in good things. So it's about like when you get surprised by life, when life brings you like something real good, when it brings you something amazing that you thought, I didn't think this was possible. I don't think I was ever going to have this. I didn't think this was available to me, and it just brings it along in a very easy way, and you're like, oh, lovely.
Yes, no, it's so true.
But you co-creating your pain as well, because your pain is, you're not going to sign up and say, next week on this date, will you just like thrash me with like a really bad situation that's going to trigger the freaking shit out of me and make me lose my head for a few days? Is that all right? I really want that. It's okay, thanks God, cheers. Like, you're never going to say that, but in those dark moments, like it's meant to be happening, because you're going to rise out of it stronger. It's going to move you towards more light, and it's going to move you towards what you want. And like, how many things, you know what's so funny, like I was saying to my mum the other day, if I didn't fail my AS levels, this conversation wouldn't be happening.
Yeah, no,
I never would have met you. You listening never would have heard this. So yeah, like I got kicked out of the first college I was at because I didn't do well in my grades, and at that time I was like, shit, what have I done? But that was a bit of a rocky time. Like, I had to go and figure something else out to do, and all works out so well. But this purpose right now, where we are like fully living out our purpose, this podcast, everything, our friendship, the beautiful friendship we have, you listening to this episode right now, getting comfort from this episode, feeling better, none of this would be happening if that one little bad thing on my journey, unplanned, that knocked me off, didn't happen, So even in your pain, you're co-creating all the time as well.
Yeah, sure. And I think co-creation is embodiment in a way, because I think when you are tested and when you're in that pain, you have the decision: do you want to embody the future version of you, or do you want to go back to that old version? And I think by embodying the future version and thinking, what is this teaching me, how can I move forward, that's how you're going to start manifesting things. And as well, just going back to what you were saying about people don't believe, like, I just feel like so many people, like, obviously it's up to you if you believe in that stuff, but like, so many people don't dare to believe because they're trying to protect themselves, but like that is just living in fear. Like, and people don't understand that. I was trying to explain that to my dad yesterday. We were talking about like I don't really know what he believes, to be honest, but I was talking to him about how like people don't believe because they're trying to like protect themselves, but it's like, what would happen if you dared to believe? Like, why would you not allow yourself to believe? Because what is the harm in that?
Yeah.
And then we were like walking down a country lane, and I was like, because I was basically saying what I said on that post. I was like, it's just mad that we're like on this floating rock. I was like, it's just mad. I was like, look at the white things in the sky, like they're like clouds. I'm not joking. He just kept going. Huh? And I was going, like, look at nature, look at the leaves, like it's just crazy. And he was just like, and he just wasn't saying anything. And I was like, do you not think it's just mad? And he was just like, like he did not get it. But like it just reaffirms me. I was like, oh my god, like honestly, when you go into like that spiritual journey and you're working yourself and you believe that everything is in co-creation and the universe is amazing, like it opens up your eyes. Like I'm walking down that path saying, wow, look at this life. And my dad was literally like, what?
Yeah.
He was so confused. But yeah, honestly, like I just think so many people don't dare to believe. But like what would happen if you dare to believe?
Yeah, you lose.
Because we dare to believe, and like life is crazy.
Yeah. And when you start to believe, and like we sound like we're like recruiting people for a cult or something here. We're not. Like you believe whatever you want, but it's beautiful to hear people's experiences, and like it's really beautiful to hear people's relationship that they have with higher power and stuff. I think it's really nice.
You take from it what you want.
Yeah, like Justin Bieber. Like, I love his music, the music he puts out now, because you can really hear the relationship he's got with God and what it means to him and how it's changed his life, and like how that plays out in his relationship with his wife and all this stuff. Like you can really feel. I just think it's so beautiful. So it's nice. I think it's good when people just are open about what they believe and what they think, and share that with the people that maybe don't believe. I literally sound like a Joe. Like this is what like Jehovah's Witnesses do. Oh my god, no! I just mean as in like in a non-pushy way, but as in like speak your truth. What do you? If you've got gold, it's making your life golden.
Yeah.
Then embodying that and not hiding that, not preaching, pushing, but just sharing. You know, this is what really helps me, or just talking about it on such a subtle level will make somebody else adopt in maybe that belief that they really need to get them through like a hard time or whatever, you know. Like, and Mo said, like, because Mo is, I love how spiritual he is, and he's also this like logical mathematician, businessman, investor, all this stuff. But he said like spirituality is gold. If you want it, it's there, and it's gold, and you can have it. You can live without it, but you will be much happier with it. You don't need it, but if you want it, it will enhance your life. And that's so true.
Yeah, that's why I love what you just said there, because that's so true. Because why so many people like doing this work, like this kind of self-development work and into spirituality and stuff, it's because they've experienced so much light and happiness in themselves, and then you want to share it. Like when you have those moments of like euphoria, you're happy and you have breakthroughs, like you feel it inside you and you think, I would love to share this. Like you want to share it with the world. And I think that's why so many people do share it. And it doesn't matter if people believe or not, because obviously like I feel like everyone is divinely guided to what they need to hear.
Yeah,
so if you're listening to this now, you're meant to listen to it. You can take from it what you want. It might even plant a seed. You might think we sound a little bit crazy. In about a year, you might think, oh my God, that makes so much more sense. Do you know what I mean? Like everything is absolutely perfect for everyone. But yeah, I think that is the main reason people share it, because when you have that light and that love inside of you, why not share it?
Yeah, and when it's given you so much strength, or it's really helped you, you have like this overwhelming sense to share, because it helped you so much. It's like, what can that do for other people? And like that is what that bring back to Justin Bieber, but that's like his mindset now on his music. Like, so he wants to bring music that his fans going to love, but he also wants to bring elements of it that are going to really help people. And he was like, it's a privilege to be able to do that, and it's just very true. It's very beautiful. Like, it sounds wham, but like his Freedom EP that came out a few months ago, where it's very like he talks loads about God in it and stuff, because he's just speaking his truth. That really made me deepen my relationship with like God and a higher power. Hearing him talk about it in such a beautiful way, it did something to me. And that might sound weird to say that Justin Bieber was part of my awakening. Whatever. I think it's beautiful.
I think it is, exactly, because like I said, everything like is divinely guided to you. So like you wouldn't,
and I won't be the
probably
only one.
listened to
Millions of
something-
people have listened to that and had the same experience.
But you know, like you probably wouldn't have resonated with like some random preachy thing.
Yeah, exactly. But
Because-
Will with Justin Bieber.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
who delivers it. Yeah. So true.
And I'm really glad he did do that, to be honest.
Yeah, it's freaking beautiful, and it's tunes, absolute tunes. But yeah, he just like threw that EP together a few days before Easter, like it was like a channeled thing. He was like, I want to release this, and it was unplanned, and they just did it, and it's beautiful.
It is. And you guys probably thinking like me and Grace, I mean, we're always talking about like shadow work and like getting to that deeper part of ourselves. And you can probably tell by the way we're speaking, like I feel like lately we've just been working through things.
Yes.
And a huge thing, especially for me, that has helped me really get into those dark places and sit with the pain, is going to therapy, because you know that we are just obsessed with therapy. Because I don't feel like we'd be doing episodes like this if we haven't been to therapy.
Absolutely not.
It's been absolutely life-changing for us.
You need to meet yourself on a deep level to become who you want to become. But it's not always something you can do by yourself. You need somebody to hold your hand. You need somebody to support you and hold that space for you. Like, therapy is essential.
Yeah, it's like creating that safe place for you. That is why we are really, really proud that we can sit here and talk about this. But also, our podcast is sponsored by an incredible company called BetterHelp, and that is Help, H-E-L-P. And BetterHelp are an online professional counselling service that can set you up with a therapist in under 2 days.
Yeah, it is. I love how we can talk about this, bring you our own advice and comfort, but then divert you off to a really good service where you can get dealt with one-on-one by a professional licensed counsellor. So yeah, you literally sign up through our link, which gives you 10% off your first month of therapy. So it's all done online, and because it's all online, it's much more affordable than traditional offline counselling, like face-to-face counselling, but you still get a really good experience regardless of the fact it's online. And you also get 10% off for being a listener of our podcast. So all you need to do is go to the link betterhelp.com/find your feet. That's betterhelp.com/find your feet. Go to that link. The 10% will automatically be applied to your account. You fill out a questionnaire, then they can get to know who you are, what your needs, what do you need to work on. They can match you up with the perfect therapist, because they're an online global company that's available to everyone across the world. So wherever you're listening to this podcast, like whatever country you're in, you can use BetterHelp. It's available to you. And they have like thousands of therapists on there, like all really, really highly qualified and all specializing in different things. So whatever it is that you want to work on, like there's someone on that platform that is perfect for you. So they'll match you up perfectly with someone. But even if it turns out you get matched with someone and you don't vibe with them, you're not keen, you want someone else, they will let you change therapists for free as many times as you want until you get to the right person. So it will be no additional charge or anything. Like, you can just swap until you find the right one, until you know this is the person I want to be working with.
Yeah, it's just an incredible company. And if you're like, you are listening to this episode and you're thinking, well, I don't feel like I've been into that deeper part of myself, and like I want to do that, like I want to work through things, then like we said, therapy is an incredible option. And I was saying on the story the other day, I was speaking to someone and they were saying they couldn't believe how much they'd got from online therapy. Like it will blow your mind if you allow it to.
Yeah.
You gotta take the step.
Yeah. And however you feel comfortable to communicate with your therapist, like they'll work around you. So if you want to do video calls, you can do that. If you want to just do audio phone calls, you can do that. Or if you don't feel comfortable with speaking on the phone, you can just do it on a chat box or on emails. So however you want to do it, they'll work around you. So like you can go your own pace, go your own level, and you're just at home. Like, it's from the comfort of your own home. So you really don't need to feel overwhelmed or anything, because I know that actually going therapy can be really tough step for people to take. But like, you know, you can see us now in what we're saying, the reason we can speak like this and have met ourselves so deeply and are able to hold ourselves in those difficult moments with pure self-love and like kind of mother yourself, is because we've gone to therapy where it enables you to do that for yourself. Because you sometimes you need somebody else to help you do that, and then it's like giving you wings. So then when you go through hard times again in the future, you learn these techniques and these tools and this way of being that through therapy, that then you still play out within yourself you become your own therapist in a way. Like a healer, a therapist, like holds a space for you, but also like in the future you become your own therapist as well in a way.
I love that. Yeah, I feel like they almost like hold your hand and they take you to those places that you haven't yet had like the faith to go, and then they say you are the healer, and they let you go, and then you fly off with your wings. That's beautiful.
So yeah, if you want to get 10% off your first month therapy, go to the link betterhelp.com/find your feet. We've left it in the show notes, and you can start your therapy journey. But if you've got any questions about BetterHelp and what they do, or therapy in general and anything, message us on Instagram and we'll be happy to chat with you guys and give you some tips or anything. One last little point that we want to kind of round this episode off with is when you're going through a difficult time, and whether that's like it's like a, it's not caused by anyone, it's just is what it is, or if someone has done something to you, I think the most important thing, and you won't feel like this at first, but when you heal from it, is to make sure that you keep your heart open regardless of what happened. Like, especially when it comes to well, it's, to be honest, with anything, but especially like, relationships and stuff like that. Like, how many people get burned and scarred and bruised on their heart from things that happen, and it can make them lose faith in what's out there for them or anything. Like, and it can basically make you just cage up your heart. And when you cage up your heart, you're doing it to protect yourself, and you're doing it from a place of love, but you're also doing it from a place of fear. And having that like trust, again, what I was saying, like that trust in that higher power, for me, knowing that whatever I'm going through is meant to, and I'm strong enough to handle it, and it's meant to happen, and it's teaching me something, also makes me not close up my heart as a result, because I'm like, if I do that, I'm doing that from fear, and the only person I'm doing a disservice to long term is myself, because I will be blocking myself from what I want. Because to get what you want and to live like a big expansive life and to feel deeply and to get what you want requires a level of risk. Like, I don't mean like you're gonna lose your house or something, but as in like a level of emotional risk that it might not work and you might get hurt. But it's about like, it's like I did that episode where I used that analogy about the waves. Like, your life is the ocean and you're running towards the ocean, and a wave comes and you can basically turn around and run away, and that's you closing up your heart and like having the wall there to protect you. Or you can run into the wave, and that wave might be the best freaking wave ever. It might be everything that you wanted, or it might be a shitstorm and you got to swim yourself back out. And it's about knowing that you're strong enough to swim back out if that is the case, and that it's worth that level of emotional risk of could go well, could not. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously, like, as well, you listen to your intuition and all that stuff, so you don't literally walk into like a bad situation. But it's so easy to close your heart up from being hurt and going through bad things, and you feel like you're protecting yourself when you respond like that. And it's natural to respond like that, but you've got to consciously choose, now I'm not going to let this close me. I'm not going to let this close up my heart. Like, I'm still going to believe that there's good people out there, or there's good things coming to me, and I'm going to be brave enough to keep my heart open to that.
Yeah, I think one thing that really helps with that as well, like if you're in the stage of trying to remind yourself to keep your heart wide open, is to remind yourself that like nothing is ever that personal either. Like, it's never really about you. Like, it's usually always something maybe they've not processed, something they're going through, maybe they're transmitting their pain onto you. It's never really about you. Obviously, like you said right at the start, when you come into these situations, you take into account how you've shown up in that situation, and that's how you're going to grow. But if someone has literally caused you pain that you think is unnecessary, it's not about you.
No, yeah.
And it's not a reflection of who you are. It's a reflection of who they are. And if anything, you can learn from that as well. So it's just lessons all over the gap, as we were saying today.
We eat lessons for breakfast, mate. I'm really glad you brought that up, because that is so true. And I completely didn't even think about that. And I would never have mentioned it, but it's a really, really important point to make. Because everyone in life is just navigating through their own shit in their head, like, and they're seeing life,
just trying the best.
Trying the best. They're just seeing life through their own lens of whatever's going on, and that can make them behave in a way that isn't nice to you. It causes you pain. And I'm not saying like, oh, you should just let everyone, because they're just trying the best, just let people fuck you up and walk all over you, whatever. Don't mean that you've got to have, that's where you've got to have boundaries and respect to protect yourself. But it's so true, like, when people are mean to you or do something to you, it's always from a place of pain within themselves. Even when that's what I mean, it's not personal.
And it can feel personal, but it's not.
Yes.
You have to just remind yourself.
It's really not. And when you work on yourself and you meet yourself on a very deep level and you look at your own pain points, you look at your own wounds, you look at your own shadows, you realize how they have driven behavior that you've done that's probably not nice to somebody else.
Yeah.
And you can see how that was never intentional for you to behave that way to that other person or anything. It was because at that point, your shadow was running the show because you hadn't shone any light on it. So, and it was not because you consciously thought, I'm going to go and like mess this person up. That's what I'm going to do on Monday. I'm going to come and yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like it's all just your subconscious programming is like running the show. But that's why, like, when you're going through a hard time, like what you might be now, which is why I listen to this episode, you're looking at your shadows, you're facing up to things in you, like there's lessons in it, and you just know that you're going to keep becoming that person that doesn't let their shadows run the show. Your light runs the show because you're going to sit with what you're going through right now because you're strong enough to deal with it and you're going to get through it and you'll learn lessons from it. And you know that there's better things coming in. It's all working out for you, not to you, not against you.
That is just beautiful. I mean, if that isn't comforting, I actually don't know what is.
I'm going to listen to this episode myself the next time I'm not having fun.
I really am. And we're back with the quote of the week. I know we missed out a few, but we saw this quote.
Forgetting to bring them.
Yeah, but I feel like this really, really resonates with this episode. So the quote is, "I had to make you uncomfortable, otherwise you would have never moved," from the universe, which I believe in every single cell of my being. And
absolutely.
I suppose it kind of more relates to the whispers of the universe, but then also having faith in like your pain. So like if you have ignored something or if you haven't moved and then something has happened, something has crumbled, has been destructive and you're in that pain, the universe had to send you it because you wouldn't have moved. Like that had to happen for something to change. If it hadn't have been that destructive, then nothing would have changed.
Absolutely. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So yeah, I really hope this episode was the comfort blanket that you needed in your moment of difficulty, and this gave you the strength, reminded you of your own strength, not gave it to you, reminded you of what you've already got, you know?
Yeah, and we also have your hope whenever you need it.
Yeah, just come get it from us.
Messages on Instagram.
Or send it in the post.
So as you can probably tell from this episode, a huge part of our own healing journeys, especially over like, I would say like the last 6 months, has been working with embodiment, working with co-creation, working with belief in every single cell of your being and being there for yourself and being more gentle. And that is why our new workshop is like a whole new world compared to our other ones. Like our other ones we absolutely love, but we've now developed into something even more magical. So we have designed the self-belief embodied experience for you guys, and it's going to be all about believing in yourself in every single cell of your being and working with embodiments. That is working with the body.
Yeah. So getting out of your mind and into your body, tapping into the wisdom of the body. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a high vibe evening. You're going to be part of our community. You're going to connect with loads of other people there. It's all done online, by the way. Online. So it's on the 29th of July at 7 p.m. till 9 p.m. UK time, live on Zoom. And you get your tickets on our website, but we are actually doing an early bird offer, which runs out. If you're listening to this when this episode first comes out, it runs out on the 11th of July. So you've only got a few days left to get the early bird offer on the tickets. You don't want to miss out on that before it goes up to its full price. But it's going to be fun. We're going to be basically showing you teaching you, bringing to your awareness, bringing you into all the embodiment practices that we love, such as intuitive dance. Don't worry, you're not going to have your camera on and do a dance routine. Like, it's just going to be a little part of the evening to get you into your body and just show you what dance can do for you. And we're also having Breathe with James come and join us at the end, which we're so buzzing about because a big part of our healing journey and being able to meet ourselves on such a deep level and connect body and mind and embody more self-love and self-belief and everything is through breath work, and it's through James's breath work. So we are buzzing to bring you him. So he's going to take us through breath work for manifestation in the last half an hour of the workshop. So it's going to be different to our normal ones where we're normally just going through information and things like that. This one is going to be a real experience evening. Even though it's online, you're really going to feel something. And yeah, it's going to be fun. So already a lot of you that have already got your tickets, which is absolutely amazing to see, and really good to see how many of you are like showing up for yourselves and like investing in yourselves. This knowledge, these skills that you get from like investing in courses, a workshop, anything is invaluable, and it pays off forever. Like there's no better investment than your own mindset, because at the end of the day, that's what's going to get you through this life. So yeah, there's loads of you already got a ticket, which is absolutely incredible, and we're absolutely buzzing about the night. It's going to be really fun. But yeah, get your ticket on our website, findyourfeetpodcast.com. We've left the link in the show notes. Don't forget, early bird discount runs out on the 11th of July. And if you want to know anything else about it, message us on Instagram if you've got any questions. Cameras will be off, you'll be muted unless you want to talk. You're welcome to. But yeah, you'll have the privacy at home to just do your thing, even though it's going to involve like dance and breath work. You're going to be able to just chill at home and do your thing. So don't worry about that. But yeah, we're going to inject you with self-belief into every cell of your being and show you how through embodiment practices and everything. So it's going to be good time.
Yeah.
We're buzzing.
Yeah, I can already feel the energy. Like I really feel like this will be a night you will not forget ever. Like you really want it. It's like life-changing stuff, especially if you're like new to this world. It's going to be so fun. And I was just thinking there as well, it's like, because we've gone through this divine feminine awakening more, I feel like this workshop is more leaning into the feminine, whereas the other ones were a bit more masculine.
Yeah, it is.
It's more leaning into the feminine, and that feminine energy is what is going to change your life.
Literally.
So I'm just so excited. Can't wait.
Yeah. So you know where to go to get your tickets. We've left the link in the show notes, and we literally can't wait to spend the night with you. But thank you for listening to this episode. Really hope it helped you, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.